Peace. Today's episode of the Uplifted Being podcast has been brought to you by the Educated e-commerce online learning platform, presented to you by serial entrepreneur, author, and podcast host of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint podcast, Jay Jones. Learn how to build a six-figure e-commerce business in 26 weeks with the Educated e-commerce course today. Hit the link in the show notes or log on to educatedecommerce.net to sign up and get started now, family. Peace.
Greetings, and welcome to the Uplifted Being podcast, family. It's time to sync up and be uplifted.
You know that feeling. That feeling, you can't describe it really. It's just like that you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it.
This is how we do it over here at the Uplifted Being show.
They say once you find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
I have to be it. Rather than I have to have it or I have to do it. It's like I have to be it. I have to become it. I have to be the change that I want to see.
You realize that that's a reflection of you, and what they do, you can also do.
The tangible versus the intangible, and as we know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real.
Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
But you feel it.
Nah, we're gonna keep it light.
Peace and blessings, family. Welcome to another episode of the Uplifted Being Show. As I want to welcome you, if this is your first time listening and tuning in with us to be uplifted, I want to give you a warm and loving and uplifted being welcome. And just to give you a little bit about us, we promote the idea that you are a powerful creator. Each and every one of us, we are powerful creators in that we create our own reality. And in this show, we give you the tips, techniques, and conversation and laughter that enforces that, because we're not here to teach you. We are here to remind you of the powerful creator that you are and the ways in which you can create. So if you are a consistent listener, we want to thank you for all of your support. We want to thank you for all of your encouragement and your listening and downloads and rating and subscribing and all of that good jazz. And if you haven't already, please go to upliftedbeing.com. And you can download us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, all of the podcast platforms. We are there. And without further ado, family, I want to introduce myself. My name is Brother Dwayne from the Divine Mother, and I am one part of the Trinity. Yes, we are the Trinity, baby. Powerful and live and direct in your face, baby. We are your brothers and sisters. We are you. And we are thankful for you to join us and give us your time and effort and energy and attention, as we will absolutely, without doubt, reciprocate it. So, family, without further ado, I want to pass this thing off to my brother from another mother, all the way across the imaginary border. And you know, he ain't in the sticks, and it ain't one thing that he can't fix. But that's my brother, all the way in the 666.
Melanin Rich, yeah. What's happening, man? What's good? It's your brother Brian, the Aquaboy Goku, also known as Melanin Rich. And family, we back up in this. It's a beautiful day. Definitely happy to be here, but man, I think something's missing though. So let me give a big shout out to the Divine Mother, because she is fine. You know?
Shout out to baby.
You were the waterfalls.
Ooh, precipitation.
Word up, man. Word up, man. Shout out to Mother Earth, man. Shout out to the Divine Feminine. Shout out to the Divine Masculine, man. Shout out to life. Shout out to you, family, for tuning in, man. And we got a beautiful show today, man. It's the Trinity up in this piece. Brother Dwayne's here, I'm here, and of course we got the Empress, the Goddess.
Ooh, she divine and the mother lover.
Word, sugar. So, word. We rapping about 3D relativity today, man. Let that marinate. 3D relativity. And with that being said, I bow down to the Queen.
Pondy River.
Peace, family. Yes, Brother Dwayne. Hey, family. It's Sister Angela in the building, hailing all the way across the pond in London, England, in the UK. So, yeah, I'm not going to hold up the line too much. The brothers have said it all, kicked off the show beautifully. Just another special, warm, welcome, loving, light, uplifted greetings to you, especially if you are joining us for the first time. You're invited. You're welcome. Kick back, relax, vibe with us, because this is about to get deep up in here. So, Brother Mel Rich, what do you say we're talking about today?
Not the 1D, not the 2D, maybe the 4 and 5D a little. Well, we rapping about that 3D, that third dimensional, not reality. We're going to talk about reality, but relativity. Because,
What?
I mean, Brother Dwayne broke it down, but I know he could go a lot deeper into, what this whole third dimensional realm of existence pertains. What does it mean for us to be here in the 3D, and what could we come to expect from a third dimensional experience?
What can we expect from 3D? And we not talking about vitamin D, family. So,
I got that vitamin D though. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
we got that work.
Don't slide up in my DMs though, unless it's about knowledge though.
Keep it about knowledge. Oh man. So I think when we talk about 3D, we're talking about the space, right? Not time, but the space of an object. You know what I mean? When we talk about 1D, it's linear. When we talk about 2D, it has depth. When it has 3D, now we're talking about density. You know what I mean? So 3D is things you can touch, feel. Like it's in reference to our 5 physical senses. Smell, touch, taste, hear, and see. You know what I mean? So that's about for your 3D. Now, when we want to add relativity to it, I think relativity is like the absence of standards or absolute universal application, so everyone can feel fire, right? Unless you are one of those beings that cannot feel, right? Put your hand over the fire, it's going to burn you, baby. But also has another definition or way to look at it, or perception. It's like things are relative to you, right? Like truth is relative. Your truth is your truth, right? Your experience is your experience. So it's relative to you, right? In relation to you. So I think when we talk about 3D relativity, we're thinking about the physical things in your reality that you've created that only apply to you, right? I mean, I could be wrong, though.
Well, no, it's like you just said it. Like, what comes to mind is second episode, your perception, your reality. What we see with our filters, our lenses. Our eyes is what we experience. What we focus on is our reality. So, but it is relative to. They say that thing like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. To some extent, it's subjective. It's subjective to the person. No two people arguably. No two people experience the same thing in exactly the same way. So it's relative to all the variables and maybe the labels, definitions, and everything else we got going on that make up who we believe we are. You think?
Uh-huh.
I concur. I mean, because when we talk about relativity, I think it comes down to the fact that we're all living a unique experience. Our experience is unique to ourselves, although we could all relate to one another at the same time. Doesn't nobody got the same fingerprints as you? Don't nobody, look, ain't nobody, I mean, you're made one of a kind, man. You know what I'm saying? And the likeness and image of ... You feel me? So
G-O-D.
Even if you're an identical twin.
Exactly.
Right.
Your eye don't twitch like mine. So with that being said, I mean, when it comes to, comparison, why watch what somebody else has or is doing or how they're living, with, I mean, that's why, they say basically jealousy and envy is a sin. You know what I mean? Because you don't really know how nobody else is living. You know what I mean? Things could look all nice and shiny and clean on the outside, but you know what I'm saying? You ain't living in nobody else's skin. You know what I mean? You don't know what they feel. You don't know what's running through their mind before they go to sleep at night. You don't know how they wake up smelling, looking, tasting, funking. You know what I'm saying? You just,
right.
We got no clue how the next person is living. And, it's so easy to be like, okay, they got that nice Panamera Porsche, or they got that, that new Bentley, or they got that, that big home with the mad acres and this and that. But, those things, you just can't watch them. You know what I mean? The best thing you could do is be happy for people and wish them well. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's easy. That's what I mean. Breaking shit down to the 3D, it's easy to get caught up in material things, because 3D is a material realm of existence. And, we often talk about the ego on this show. And it's like the realization I came to is like the ego is like, it's like the body mind. It's like experiencing consciousness through your body. It's not your cosmic mind. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not the one mind. It's not, it's not your higher self. It's just, your consciousness through this body. It's like your body's mind. You know what I mean? And your body is a physical vessel. Your body is rooted in the 3D. You know what I mean? Until you activate that light body, you know what I'm saying? We got Brother Jeff coming to talk about that light body stuff a little later, but you know what I mean? It's not your cosmic body. This physical vessel is your physical body. And so, I mean, experiencing reality through this physical vessel only. Man, you want to speak a little bit more about that? I'm going off, but
nah, you going ham, King.
Hey.
You better drop them jewels, man.
Is that vegan ham?
Oh man, buddy. But yeah, man, I think you're absolutely right, King. I think you are absolutely right. And I love how you put it, that it's the mind's body, or it's the body of the mind. You know what I'm saying? Like we're only like when we're living through our ego, or we're living through our 3D relativity, which, you know what I mean? Like we said, relativity is just things that's only important to things of your creation. You know what I mean? Like the thing around you. So say someone has the Bentley or the Porsche or the big house, white picket fence and dog, which is always, you know what I mean? Which is perfect for them because they created it in their reality, right? Those things shouldn't lead you, shouldn't govern you. Well, it shouldn't. If it governs you, then you do what you know what I'm saying? But we're coming from an uplifted perspective. You know what I mean? We're coming from a different perspective. Let's just put it like that. We're just coming from a different perspective to where I think I'm acknowledging that in my life, the things that are relative to me are not some of the things that are relative to others. And then on vice versa, some things that are relative to me are also relative to others, like my brother here and my sister here, you know what I'm saying? My brother and my family right here, you know what I mean? But
Trinity.
the Trinity, baby.
Nope.
You know, and I think when it comes to our 3D reality in reference to relativity, we have to be careful to acknowledge what are our motives and what are our inspirations. Are
Oh,
we led
yes.
by just, you know, we wake up, what we gonna eat? You know what I'm saying? What we gonna fuck? You know what I mean? What we gonna drink? What we gonna listen to? What we gonna see? What we gonna hear? What music we gonna listen to? You know what I'm saying? Like, if those are your inspirations or what drives you, then continue to do what you're doing. But if you want to change, or you want to come from a higher perspective, then just acknowledging those things is the first step. And then it's like, well, now I want um, my inspirations to change. So now instead of waking up, what I'm going to eat for breakfast today, or who I'm going to do this with, or what I'm going to hear or listen to, or, you know what I mean, or any of that, it's now coming from a place of, I'm going to just lay here for like 5 minutes and appreciate this. I'm going to appreciate my body. I'm going to take notice of my ankles, my feet, my toes, my knees, my shins, my calves, my pelvis, my genitals, my stomach, my organs. You know, I'm going to take notice of these things and give appreciation to them. And then I'm going to take notice of the abstract things and give appreciation to those. You know, my ability to breathe, my ability to have a vision outside of my physical eyes. My ability, I'm going to appreciate my ability to love, my ability to have freedom. You know what I mean? And not freedom as in like physical societal freedom, because, you know, we're not free really, but like a sovereign freedom to where it's like I'm governing my own body. You know what I'm saying? Like sovereign freedom outside of politics is I'm governing my own self, right?
Mm.
So when we're governing our own self and we go, you know, trying to get to a higher vibration, it's really important to do it when we first wake up, because that dictates how your day is going to go. You know what I mean? So you have a higher probability of it going the way that you want to create it to go when you first wake up than as if you fall victim to your physical senses. You know what I mean? When you first wake up. So you just want to give appreciation for the abstract things, for the physical things. You know what I mean? You just want to live in that moment of gratitude to start off.
And it's
Shit.
beautiful.
It's beautiful. So in another perspective, but actually it's just building, adding to the build. So what you're saying, Brother Dwayne, is, yeah, I totally agree. It's important to really put yourself in a higher vibration from as early in the day as you can, because we wake up by default in our ego. Because like Brother Mel Rich said, we are grounded in this 3D reality through our human body, our skin suits, you know. So if you're ever not sure, I would say just assume that you are in your ego, and so that you consciously choose to, like Brother Dwayne was just saying, you know, give appreciation, give gratitude for, you know, things that you are grateful to have, you know, acknowledge your higher senses, or all your senses even, because we go, it doesn't mean that we should deny our emotions. They are part of what make us human, you know, beautiful things we can create through our emotions. So just acknowledging our whole selves, you know, is great. But I totally get that. It's a powerful thing to do that as early in the morning, as soon after waking as possible, because, yeah, that is a really great way to set yourself up for the day. And life being life, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to have a perfect day. However, it at least puts you on the trajectory to be able to deal more ably with any kind of hiccups, obstacles, challenges that might come your way throughout the day, because you've kind of set yourself up. You set your intentions as well. We talk a lot on the show about setting your intention and how powerful that is, because, you know, it's like you're placing your order for the day, you know, what you're intending, and then you kind of release control of that and let that play out. But sometimes it's really you showing how you're backing yourself, as in you're backing your higher self, your intuition, your imagination. You know, you feel backed by the universe. You put that out there, and you trust that it's going to come back. You know, so yeah, very powerful, very powerful to have these things to do in the morning. Some people have all manner of routines that are good for them. For some it is a meditation, for some it is yoga. Essentially anything that you can do that you feel connects you to that higher self, to your higher power. I think the Kings would agree. Everyone has their practice of choice. But
Do
yeah,
we really?
Yes, don't you? Some people, well, or if you're like me, I try everything. I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, sing here, dance there, meditate there, bit of yoga. What else is there? You know, color therapy, anything. Because they're all different modalities that lead to the same place. You know, just sitting out in nature, sitting out in the garden. You know, just watching the sun. Whatever is your thing, I believe everybody has their thing that helps, you know, reconnect them.
Like listening to the Uplifted Being Show. Just gets me right where I want to be.
Oh, yeah. Get
You
your Uplifted
know.
Being medicine today, every day. Keeps you high.
Hit that subscribe button, man.
You know, hit that rate. You know,
Exactly.
5 stars.
Rated 5 stars, share. But coming back to what you're talking about, so the 3D relativity, we all have. So we all have a different. We accept that we all have a different way in which we look at life, and we talked a bit about comparison. So you see somebody has something, and yeah, it could lead you to want it, you know, be jealous of it or be envious of it. And I say that to say, because we've been talking about ego, really, that yes, especially when Brother Dwayne was talking about, look at what your motivations and your inspirations are. Usually those kind of, for want of a better phrase, low vibrational desires or sins, as some people may call it, you know, they relate to some kind of wound that each of us carries, you know, and we all have a number of things, and they will all stem from childhood. You know, some of them are just stories, things that we went through, and we interpreted them in some kind of way that basically tells us how we are inadequate in some way. We're not good enough. We're not lovable. You know, you can't trust anybody. You have to control yourself. We all have any number of stories that we made up just to make sure that we to prove that somehow we're not good enough, we're inadequate in some way. And so when we see these things, they kind of trigger us to go back to that place, one of these stories. But this is coming from our ego. And this is why it's another good reason to, you know, as much as we can, set ourselves up at the beginning of the day, you know, to be connected or reconnected to our higher self, you know, our true selves, you know, get grounded, as some people may call it, because the ego, not necessarily is playing out all the time, but because we're human, we have physical beings, the ego is always going to be there. So if anybody talks to you about, you know, getting rid of your ego, run, because that's not possible unless someone's going to take you out, or
They're gonna
you're
kill
planning
you.
to take yourself out.
It's a setup. Run far away.
Hey, it's like those cartoons, back in the days where they'd have like, the two figures on each shoulder, like two voices, I don't want to say,
Yes.
yeah, one would be like a so-called angel, one would be like a so-called devil. You know what I'm saying? And they're both rapping in your ears and stuff like that. It's like everything is a choice. You know what I mean? We could choose what inner voice we want to listen to, you know? And
Absolutely.
not to say that both voices are not us, because, the thing is, the totality of our being is it's humongous.